This is a lecture from Open Tuition. To benefit from the lecture, you should download the free lecture notes from opentuition.com.
This lecture I'm going to go, I'll start going through section C of the September 2016 paper F9 exam. And section C is the two long form questions. So this lecture, I'll go through question 31, the first of the two, and then the second one, we'll have a separate lecture. Now for the long form questions, a couple of general points. Firstly, always look at what's required first, so that when you go back and read the detail, because there's always much more to read, but you know what you're looking for and you don't waste too much time. Secondly, whereas sections A and B, nobody looks at your workings, so don't waste time being neat. With section C, it's the workings that are more important than anything. It's not the final answer that's getting the marks, it's your workings. So even if you do something wrong, if it's clear from your workings that you're trying to do the right thing, you'll still get most of the marks. Arithmetic mistakes, it's just the odd half mark, but only if your workings are neat, or neat enough for the marker to follow. And finally, when there are several parts, as there inevitably will be, here there are 3 parts, do make sure you do something for each part. Too many people, we've yet to look at it, but they do part A, they do part B, things go wrong, they get stuck, they take too long, and they never do anything for part C. Well, it's completely mad. You're aiming to get at least 50% on every question. Everything else is, if you like, a bonus once you've passed. And you see A and B here, in total are 10 marks. All right, you can just about get the 50%, but the chances of not having done something wrong somewhere are tiny. Not to have done anything for part C is dreadful, because even just writing one line, there's a chance you'll get 1 mark. And 1 mark doesn't mean much, but I think I've said earlier, it's everything. If you were otherwise getting 49 and failing, when 1 mark would have given you 50 and passing. So if you do get stuck in A or B, just move on. You can always do something for the written bit part C. Anyway, let's get a move on here. What are the requirements? A, evaluate whether Nesud should accept the early settlement discount offered by its supplier. B, evaluate whether Nesud should adopt an economic order quantity approach to order and component K. So it's clearly working capital, but A is on early settlement discounts offered by a supplier. B is on economic order quantity. And then finally C, a very, very standard written, whether you've done the arithmetic or not, critically discuss how Nesud could improve the management of its trade receivables. Well, let's go through A. Should we accept the early settlement discount? Now have a quick look at the question, and it has helped you the way it's set out. The first paragraph tells us we've credit sales of 45 million a year. We settle accounts with trade payables after 60 days. One of our suppliers has offered us an early settlement discount of 0.5% for payment within 30 days. Admin costs would be increased by 500 a year if the discount is taken. We buy components worth 1.5 million a year from this supplier. Second paragraph goes on about buying something of component K, costs of placing an order and things. Well, that's completely separate. Part A of the question is about the early settlement discount, and that's the first paragraph. Part B is economic order quantity. Well, that's the second paragraph. The third paragraph, the finance director is concerned that approximately 1% of credit sales turn into irrecoverable debts. In addition, customers take 65 days to settle their accounts. Well, that's nothing to do with taking a discount from suppliers or with economic order quantity. It says discuss Part C, how we could improve the management of receivables. Well, although Part C doesn't require any calculations, you can reference it to that third paragraph. Finally, we finance working capital requirements from an overdraft costing 4% a year. Assume that there are 360 days in a year. All right, let's do Part A. I'll set it out the way I do in my lectures. It doesn't matter how you set it out, as long as it's clear to the marker what you're trying to do. There's an early settlement discount being offered. To decide whether it's worthwhile or not, I always list the benefits or the savings that would occur. I also list the costs that would occur. And then, if there's a net benefit, it's worth doing. If there's a net cost, it isn't. So let's run through. We have credit sales of 45 million a year. We pay our payables after 60 days. One of its suppliers has offered a discount of 0.5%. So an obvious benefit here is that we'll get the saving, the benefit of the discount. It's 0.5% of how much? Well, sales are of no relevance at all. The discounts being offered by suppliers. But the last sentence of that paragraph, it says we buy components worth 1.5 million a year from this supplier. And so, if we do take the discount, we'll save 0.5% of 1.5 million. Was it 0.5? Oh, sorry, I wrote 0.05. I do apologise. I think I said it right. 0.5%. And I always get lost on zeros here, so be careful. 0.5% of 1.5 million. 7,500 per year. So that's the obvious benefit. What else are we told? If we take the early settlement discount, the next to the last sentence of that paragraph, admin costs will increase by 500 a year. And I'm setting it out nicely. And so each bit of that will be getting marks, half a mark, whatever, even if we stopped there. However, the final figure, what you might call the learning one, is that, of course, to take the discount, we're paying early. And if we're paying early, that will increase our overdraft. And the overdraft is costing us 4% a year. And so the other cost is the extra interest. And you can get the figure more than one way, but I think the quickest is to say that at the moment, our payables, we're paying after 60 days. We're going to be paying within 30 days. And so our overdraft is going to have to increase by 30 days worth of purchases. Well, it says 360 days in a year. So 30 days worth of purchases. Well, the total is 1.5 million. So that's the extra overdraft we're going to need. And the interest is 4% a year. So over a year, the extra interest will be £5,000. There's no mention of any other savings or benefits or costs. And so we're saving 7,500 from the discount. It's costing us 5,500 a year, the admin and extra interest. There is a net benefit or saving. 7.5 minus 5.5, 2,000 a year. And so, should we accept the discount? Well, yes, we should. Do accept the discount. And make sure you've written that down. It's only half a mark, but just having the figure isn't enough. It wants us to evaluate, should we accept? Well, we should. Okay, I don't think that was too bad for 4 marks. What about part B? Should we adopt an economic order quantity approach to ordering component K? Now, a bit odd, because you should already be aware, what economic order quantity is. An economic order quantity is the best way of ordering. So when it says should we, well, the answer is of course we should. But it does ask you to evaluate. And so we need to do a bit more. If you look at the second paragraph, which I've already identified relates to this component, from a different supplier, we buy $2.4 million worth a year of component K at $5 per component. So before I go any further, how many units is that? If it's $2.4 million and it's $5 a component, we're buying 480,000 units per year. Consumption is assumed to be at a constant rate throughout the year. We order components at the start of each month. So what are we doing at the moment? Currently, we're ordering, well, since demand is even throughout the year and we're ordering at the start of each month, surely we must be ordering 1/12, we must be ordering 40,000 each time. We're told the cost of placing each order, 248.44, and we're told the holding cost. Well, fine. What are the total inventory costs? Will be the order cost over a year. At the moment, we're ordering each month, so there are 12 orders. Each order costs 248.44. And so over the year, we're paying a total order cost of 2981.28. The other cost is the holding cost. And the holding cost, well, we're ordering 40,000 each time, so inventory levels keep going between 40 and 0. The average inventory throughout the year is 40,000 over 2, 20,000 units. And the cost of holding the unit, $1.06 a year. So 20,000, 1.06, 21,200. So currently, it's costing them, let's use my calculator, add the two together. It's currently costing 24,181.28 per year. I've not brought in the purchase price. You could have done if you want, but the point is the purchase price isn't going to be affected by the order quantity. We're paying $5 a component, whatever happens. So over the year, the purchase price won't change. It says evaluate whether we should adopt an economic order quantity approach. So let's see what the economic order quantity would be, how many we should order each time, and then cost it out, and it should of course be cheaper. Well, the economic order quantity, the square root of 2 C0D over CH. C0, the order cost each time, was what? 248.44. D, the total demand over the year, I worked out a moment ago, 480,000. Divided by CH, the holding cost for 1 unit for 1 year, $1.06. So of course it's now just being careful on the calculator, so 2 times, that was a good start, 2 times 248.44 times 480,000 divided by 1.06 is 225, whatever, square root 15,000. In fact, it's a nice round number that makes me optimistic. However, evaluate what will the cost be if we order 15,000 each time. Well, the order costs, again over the year. In total, we're still ordering for 80,000 over the year. If it's 15,000 each time, we'll need 32 orders. And the cost per order, 248.44, gives us a total cost over the year of 7,950. 0.08. I'm not going to mess around with 0.08. In addition, we've got the holding costs. Well, this time we're ordering 15,000 each time. Inventory levels vary between 15 and 0. The average inventory will be 15,000 over 2, 7,500 units. And the cost of holding 1 unit for a year is $1.06. 7,950. You may remember from paragraph 2, it's not a coincidence that the two are the same, but anyway. So what would the total cost be per year? 7,950 plus 7,950 is 15,900. And so, should we adopt an economic order approach? Well, yes, we should. Currently, we're spending 24,000 a year. It'll go down to 59. So, do adopt EOQ. It doesn't specifically ask for, but it takes a second. I will write it down. How much will we save a year? 24,181. I'm forgetting the cents. Minus 15,900. We'll save 8,281 per year. I did say earlier, but I ignored the purchase price. We're buying 480,000 a year at $5. We're paying 2.4 million a year. Do ignore it, because whether we stay in the current approach, we go to EOQ, we're still buying 480,000. We're still paying 2.4 million. If you brought it in, fine. But the saving will be exactly the same. Have no effect. All right, that's 10 marks. What about part C, though? 10 marks, so he's expecting you to write a bit, but how could we improve the management of the trade receivables? Well, I'm not going to write down an answer. He's asked this so many times. You know, read his answer and learn from it. All right, he writes more than he expects. But, you know, he's got those headings. Credit analysis. We don't have receivables. And you see, we've a lot of irrecoverable debts. Well, credit analysis is before we sell on credit. Check the riskiness of the customers. Ask them to give us references from other people we buy from. Ask them to give references from the bank that only sell to customers who we feel confident are going to pay us. Credit control. Don't give people too much credit initially. You know, your first customer, limit the amount they can buy on credit. So it limits the amount we stand to lose. But once they've proved they're a good customer, then you can up the limits. You may start off saying, you know, you can buy up to 500 on credit. But after a while, when they've been paying on time, then, all right, 5,000 on credit. But that's what we mean by credit control. A collection of amounts owed. We're obviously not collecting very well, taking 65 days to collect in the money, especially when we're paying our suppliers within 40 days. And so we need to be more efficient about collecting. You know, he's got standard policies there. Maybe offer them a discount to make them pay sooner, or to persuade them to. Have standard procedures for chasing them. You know, if they haven't paid within 30 days, send them a reminder. If they haven't paid within 60 days, perhaps start ringing them or getting lawyers' letters or something, but have a standard policy for how we're going to chase them. And of course, part of that really is consider whether it's worth employing a factor. That factors, although it'll cost us money, they're likely to be more efficient at collecting in the receivables. So again, I've not written that down, I have no intention of doing, but it is such a standard bit of a question. It's asked that time and time again. Do read this answer properly.